Hello and welcome to ScaleUp Radio Shorts. I'm Kevin Brent.
And I'm Louise Blunt. This podcast is brought to you by Smart 90, the proven 90-day execution system for scaling businesses.
Every month, we take a deep dive into an important aspect of scaling up from our entrepreneurial scale-up system. And today, we are tackling a topic that, frankly, not enough founders want to talk about, but absolutely should be: exit planning. Specifically, building a business worth selling, even if you never actually plan to sell it.
Exactly, Kevin. It's our monthly theme, and it's a vital one. To kick us off, there is a statistic in this month's briefing booklet that should stop any business owner in their tracks. Second only to property, your business is likely to be your most valuable asset, yet a staggering 80% of business owners have no exit plan in place.
It's frightening when you think about it. And of those who do try to sell, only 1 in 5 achieves a successful outcome. When they do sell, businesses typically only go for around 40% of their asking price.
It's a sobering reality. Most founders pour their lives into their businesses, hoping to fund a comfortable future, but the vast majority will eventually walk away with very little to show for those years of investment. But Kevin, the point of this month's theme isn't just about packing up and leaving, is it?
Not at all, Louise. The big secret here, and the thing that most people miss, is that an exit plan is actually a growth plan in disguise. The disciplines that make a business attractive to a potential buyer are the exact same disciplines that make it stronger, more profitable, more resilient, and less dependent on you as the owner right now. And it's not a document that you write 5 years before you retire. It's a framework for running a much better business today.
I love that perspective. Helen Bauer from Ada Bookkeeping, who we've had on ScaleUp Radio, put it brilliantly. She said, "I would start thinking about it way before you actually want to do it. Map your personal timeline, think about what value you need from the business to get there, and keep plugging away." It's like the old Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time is now.
Spot on. Waiting simply gives you fewer options. Now, the question most business owners never ask themselves is, what is my business actually worth today? Not what you hope it's worth or what you feel it deserves to be worth after all your blood, sweat, and tears, but what a realistic buyer doing proper due diligence would actually pay for it right now.
And because most founders haven't done this exercise, they are building without a target. They might be making decisions that quietly erode value rather than increasing it. So let's talk about valuation. Most owners significantly overestimate what their business would sell for. Kevin, how is a business typically valued?
Well, evaluation is always an opinion, not a hard fact. But the most small and medium-sized businesses, the starting point is a multiple of pre-tax profit, usually somewhere between 3 and 5 times earnings. For example, if your business makes £200,000 a year in net profit, a rough benchmark valuation is going to be between 600,000 and £1 million, but that's very, very rough.
And size of the business dictates how that profit is measured, doesn't it? Larger businesses typically use EBITDA, that's earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. But for owner-managed businesses with revenues generally under 2 to 3 million, buyers often use SDE, or seller's discretionary earnings.
Yes, exactly. SDE starts with that pre-tax profit, but it adds back the owner's salary, personal benefits, and any one-off discretionary expenses that wouldn't continue under new ownership. It makes a massive difference. So a business reporting £80,000, say, of net profit after the owner took £120,000 salary might actually have an SDE of 200,000 or more once you apply these add-backs.
That's a very different conversation with a buyer, and those multiples aren't fixed. Research across 30,000 businesses shows that while average businesses sells for 3.5 times pre-tax profit, a really well-run business can achieve 6 times or more. And that's potentially a 71% premium just for intentionally building for value.
Which leads us perfectly into how you build that value. Our scale-up system highlights 8 specific drivers of business value. Getting these right pushes you toward that higher multiple. We don't have time to go into all 8 in depth, but they include things like consistent financial performance, growth potential, and recurring revenue.
Recurring revenue is a huge one. As Jonathan Harris of My Brightside told us, you have to prove your revenue and market fit early. Predictable, contracted income tells a buyer exactly what is already in the diary on day one, before they've even lifted a finger.
Absolutely. Then there's the one about independence, the Switzerland structure, if you like, meaning that you aren't dependent on any one single customer, supplier, or employee. And there's monopoly control, which is about having a wide and competitive moat, and then customer satisfaction, tracked by things like net promoter scores. But Louise, out of all eight, which one would you say is the absolute deal breaker?
Without a doubt, it's got to be the hub and spoke driver. And this is, I agree, the most important yet most neglected aspect of building value. The hub and spoke model describes a business where the owner is at the absolute center of everything, every key relationship, every important decision, every client call, perhaps. It all runs through the founder at the hub.
It's so common because we build our businesses on our own reputation and standards. But the harsh reality is, if everything relies on you, you don't really own a business. You are just a person with employees. And you cannot sell that because if you leave, the spokes fall apart and there is nothing for the buyer to buy.
Right. Daniel Berner, who built and sold a care business with around 1,000 staff, faced this head on. He pointed out that you are very unlikely to find one single person to replace you. Instead, you have to map your role and allocate pieces of it, HR, sales, operations, to specialists within your team. In the final 3 months before he sold, he deliberately stepped back to prove to the buyers that the team could run the business without him.
That proof of concept is vital. Getting yourself out of the hub takes years, not months. You have to document what you do, build systems around it, and develop people who can own outcomes. And going back to last month's theme, this connects perfectly to the hedgehog concept. When your business has a clear, deeply understood organizing idea, your team can make decisions without you. Clarity creates independence, and independence creates value.
And when you achieve that independence, you start thinking about who might actually buy this well oiled machine. It's a great exercise to do now, even if you aren't selling for 10 years.
Most buyers actually come from existing relationships. Could be competitors, suppliers, customers, or even your own team through potentially management buyout. The most valuable exits happen when you find a strategic buyer, however, and you have to ask yourself, could buying your business help them sell more, charge more, or spend less? And if the answer is yes to any of those, they will often pay a strategic premium, potentially way above your financial valuation with the multiples we were talking about earlier.
As a rule of thumb, the ideal acquirer is usually a business about 10 times your size, large enough to afford you easily, but small enough that your business makes a meaningful impact to them.
So, how do we pull this all together into a practical exit plan? The good news is it doesn't need to be a complex 30-page document that gathers dust in a drawer.
Not at all. A simple, honest 2 or 3 page statement is enough. It should cover your objectives and aspirations, an honest assessment of your current valuation, your investment story, which is basically a 2 minute pitch of why your business works, and most importantly, specific actions to improve your score on those 8 value drivers over the next 12 to 24 months.
And don't forget to get tax and professional advice early. Fees and tax in the UK can take 15 to 20% of your sale price. So your target sale price needs to reflect what you actually want to put in your pocket. The sale process itself is incredibly demanding, and Helen Bauer on ScaleUp Radio mentioned her share purchase agreement was 65 pages long. You need to have already stepped back from the day-to-day, just have the headspace to manage the sale process properly.
To get started, the booklet outlines a brilliant 90-minute focus session. Just block out 90 minutes, score yourself honestly against the 8 drivers, identify your top 3 weaknesses, map out potential buyers, draft your investment story, and set 3 specific actions for the next 90 days. It's about honesty over tidiness.
Remember, this is about building a business that gives you real options, whether you sell it, pass it on, or just enjoy running a highly profitable company that doesn't demand 80 hours a week of your time. Doing this work pays off.
It really does. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into exit planning and building a business actually worth selling. And if you want to get your hands on the full monthly booklet that we've been discussing today, or if you want to complete the Bismarck exit strategy plan template that we mentioned, then you can request a copy directly from us. Just send an email to kevin@smart90.co.uk. And of course, you can find out more about the Smart 90 system and how it can help you scale by visiting smart90.co.uk.
And just before we go, most founders that I speak to feel busy but stuck with their teams. Plenty happening, but not always clear on what genuinely matters most this quarter. If that's you, then the G90 Summit is worth a look. It's a structured half day where we work through everything competing for your attention. Get clear on the 3 to 5 things that must happen in the next 90 days. So that might be your exit plan. Then commit to them and build the system to make sure they actually happen. It's quarterly, it's virtual, it's £97, smart90.co.uk/summit. What topic?